right, and I am live. Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, December 11th, and it is going on 5 a.m. It is 4:47 a.m. in Phoenix. So, the topic this morning, as you can see, sisters are expected to take care of their grown children forever. Let's get into it, y'all. All right. Every now and then, I like to do a segment on my show because this is a environment that I pride myself on being a person that's about the Black family. And so this is a good Black family topic here because, 9 times out of 10, we got majority of our children basically, being raised by 50% of single mothers. Okay. 20% of our children are raised by both parents. So now, for the most part, you got mama, and mama is expected to do her duty as a parent and see those children into adulthood and make sure that they are productive members of society. That is supposed to be the end game for every parent, whether you're a single parent, a grandparent, whether you are an uncle raising a niece or a nephew, whether you have stepchildren, foster children. The end result is that you get those children to the point where they are productive members of society. So once your children graduate from high school, is your job over? That is the $1 million question in the Black community, because it seems to be the consensus that a lot of single mothers, when their children become 18, they go, my job is done. So you all can get the hell up out of here. But that isn't what really goes on in the Black community. I just want everyone to know that. That is a myth and a fallacy. For the most part, when the children turn 18, they're still at home with mama. Okay? They're still at home with mama. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that you're 18, 19, 20, 21-year old, all the way up to even 25 years old. I'm not saying that they can't be at home. Not saying that at all. But where I have an issue with a lot of our sisters and some of our brothers who are single parents, and even the two-parent households, any parent for that matter. The problem I have is when you do not put any type of responsibility on these grown adults after they've graduated from high school. They're just kind of living in your house, but there is no clear pathway for them to become independent. That's the problem that I have with most Black households. And so I felt that it was important for us to have a discussion this morning because when you foster an environment where you don't have any clear cut pattern for an adult child to become independent and a productive member of society, when you don't have any clear cut plan, any clear cut path that you have all sat down and talked about, this is what breeds the children in your home who are wayward with no direction. This is what breeds the sense of entitlement that you have to pay for everything and take care of their everything, and they don't want to be adults. They don't want to grow up. This is what breeds the Peter Pan syndrome in our young men and women. It is you, the parent. You are responsible for these little Negroes and Niglets running around here that don't want to do anything with their lives. It is you. Case in point, I have a girlfriend. We're all up in our late 40s. So our children are in their early to mid 20s. Okay. young adults. My girlfriend has decided that oh, her child, her son is now like 27. Okay, he's been out of high school for a number of years. Number of years. 27. He should already be out there on his own by now. By 27, yeah, he should be pretty much established and on his own. But instead, she has mollycoddled this boy to the point where he does not want to go to school. He doesn't have any type of goals in life at all whatsoever. None whatsoever. And she's not talking to him about any life goals either. And it's always been so curious to me because I try not to get in other people's business. You know how you try to, mind your own business, worry about your own kids. I got my own kids to worry about. But it has always been curious to me as to why she would let that grown ass man sit in her house and he's not in school. He's not looking to join the military. He's not trying to start his own business. He's just there. And mind you, yeah, he does have a job. He works. He contributes to the household, but it is a menial wage job because he doesn't have any skills. And she's not encouraging him to get any either. So now what happens if something happens to her? If heaven forbid something were to happen to her, what would happen to her son? Because see, we love to sit up here and we love to give these children, I think this is generation what do they call it? The generation zero, or I forget what they call them. But the generation after Generation X. We like to give them a lot of excuses as to why they cannot become productive members of society. So the number one excuse that we like to give is we like to say, oh, you know what? It's not the same as it used to be for us when we were coming up. Thank you, just a regular guy. Generation Y, Generation Z, I don't know. Bro Speak says it's Generation Z. It may be both. I think Generation Y and Z are very entitled and lazy. And we're the problem. Generation X and the baby boomers, we're the problem. But we like to give the excuse that the reason why they can't get out here on their own is because the opportunities are not the same today as it was back when we were young. And so, everybody lives at home. Look at how the Mexicans, they live on top of each other, and why can't we do the same thing, and blah blah blah. Well, I'm about to, in your face, debunk all of the excuses why you all sit up here and let your grown kids stay in the house with no plan to make them productive citizens of society. Because, see, while you're sitting up here talking about the Hispanics and how they're sitting up here cooperating with each other and they're all living in the same house, everybody that live in that house have a job. Everybody that live in that house is learning a new skill. Everybody that live in that house is either going to school, learning a new skill. They are productive members of society and they have plans to become independent. But when we have a whole bunch of Negroids living in our house, there is never no plan for anybody to learn a new skill, go to school, or become independent or become a productive member of society. So let's stop pretending that we're doing the same thing as the Hispanics, because we're not. What we're doing is we're sitting up there and we're going to work, we're paying all the bills, and we're buying PlayStation 5 for grown motherfuckers. That's our plan. And it's a lot of you Generation X old heads running around here scared to be alone because you're single and you don't want your children to move out of the house. Let's tell the truth about everything. Some of you even sabotage your own children, encouraging the young women to go ahead and get pregnant so that they can fall into the same poverty trap that you fell into. I see a lot of this going on. And like I said, I try to mind my own business. I try to mind my own business and not get into anybody else's. But it's very, very difficult when you are seeing the same thing over and over again. So my question is, why in the Black community is it expected of, especially of Black women, of sisters, why is it expected of Black women to take care of their children forever? Do you realize that if something happens to you, heaven forbid, you die unexpectedly, or I don't know, the IRS gets you for tax fraud and you go to prison, or whatever, anything could happen. You lose your job, you lose your health. If something happens to you and you're the only thing that's keeping the entire family going, your children do not have the tools to survive on their own. And see, none of you think that this is a problem. Why? Why don't we think this is a problem? Why do we expect Black women to mule forever for everybody? But this is exactly what I'm seeing. Now I'm in the transportation industry, and like I said, I'm moving over into a different job. And I had a brief conversation with a young man in passing while we were both working. And he said to me, he was like, "Well, where have you been?" I said, "Well, I've been, dotting my I's and crossing my T's, putting myself in place for a better opportunity to make six figures." And I told him about the job opportunity that I'm getting ready to cross over into. And I tried to explain to the brother, I said, and you could do the same thing. I said, you don't have to be doing this for peanuts. And every time I tried to tell him a way that he could cross over and not have to be a slave and work for peanuts, I got hit with an excuse as to why he couldn't do it. So later on in the week, I find out that this young man, he still lives at home with his parents. He's quite comfortable and not looking for an opportunity to earn six figures. Some of you brothers out here, you don't want to put the work in that it takes to become a six-figure earner. And yeah, he leaning on mama. He at home leaning on mama. And he looked to be about 27, 28. I am noticing a lot of, how can I say, young people in their late 20s still at home, but they're not doing anything to better their lives. And the parents are just sitting there enabling the fuckery. How long are we going to allow this to continue in our community? When are we finally going to say, you know what? Times are changing. So let's look at the changing times. Okay, we got a lot of jobs that are becoming automated. So rather than make an excuse that the jobs aren't plentiful like they were back in our day, well, let's see what jobs are plentiful, shall we? See, we as Black people, we do not become sociologists of our community and see what opportunities are available. We don't research and ask ourselves, okay, what type of jobs are available to for our children in our community? What should we be pushing on our children as they graduate out of high school? Do you know that in the medical field, there are not enough optometrists? How many people have thought about going to school to become an eye doctor? Because we got plenty of people going to school to become nurses, dentists. Dental school is full of Black children. How many of you ever thought about becoming an optometrist? There's a shortage. And talk about your easy job. All you're doing is looking in people's eyes all day long. Bro Speak says we let the kids fend for themselves. I disagree, Bro Speak. We do not let the kids fend for themselves. Our kids come home and they lay up on their parents. They're not fending for themselves. We're enabling them not to be productive citizens. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the children being at home. But one thing about me, and this is what I tell my kids, you can be here, but you are going to, if one trade isn't working for you, I got to see you looking into a different trade, or trying to find something within your chosen field so that you can get back out there and become that productive citizen that I raised you to be. But you're not going to, I did not raise you to be a permanent couch potato on my couch. That's what I didn't raise you to do. And so a lot of the Black people that I've noticed that's with the whole let them be couch potatoes forever in the house program is because that's what they have done until they were in their late 30s and 40s. And so parenting from guilt, they allow their children to do the same. And that's not how you break generational curses. When you learn better, you can teach better. Not only do you do better, but you can actually teach better when you learn better. So if you have learned that being stagnant in life, not having any goals, not taking advantage of opportunities has held you back, why would you not teach the next generation not to make the same mistake you made? But time and time again, this is what I see African American families doing. So, when are you going to teach your children responsibility? When are you going to teach your children that they have to take personal responsibility for the path that they choose in life? And them laying up on your couch with no goals, no plan is not taking you're not making them take personal accountability when you allow them to do that. Nothing in this world or in this life is free. And that should be the very first lesson when they become an adult. And you can either help them get a hand up by allowing them to live at home for free as long as they have plans and goals to become self sufficient. But if I don't see you implementing any plan or goal to become self sufficient, then you laying on my sofa is fruitless. And yes, I will be the mama to put your ass the hell out unapologetically, because you're not going to lay on my sofa and you're not going to school or learning a trade or doing something to elevate yourself. There is a price for laying on my sofa. And if you're not willing to pay the price, then you're going to have to get the hell out unapologetically. And I love you. Don't forget that part. And I love you. But you got to go. Oh my goodness. I jumped right in here talking. I did not acknowledge anybody that came into the chat. What's going on? Let's see here. Oh, okay. A Yale male Israelite. Pretty Black Magic. What's going on? Screen learning. What's going on, handsome? Bro Speak. Just a regular guy. NC Worker. Biratiki. All my faithfuls. I appreciate you guys for coming in. Third War Colombian. Gia Girl. All right. So that's right, Gia Girl. It's called Tough Love. And we have really gotten away from it. Monique Mama Max, what's going on? She says, I don't understand. West Indian homes didn't allow this. Back of the day, one must be in college or work. Exactly. But it's a phenomenon in our community. And then with these people with all this idle time on their hands, they work their little Walmart job, and the mom sits up here and says, well, my child is a good person and a productive member of society at 27 working at Walmart with no plans to do anything else. And they definitely cannot go out and become a independent person on their own with a job at Walmart. So I am going to have to continue to work and pay bills because I still got this child hanging on me that don't seem to want to move forward with anything else in their life but a job working at Walmart. And we don't seem to see anything wrong with this. We'll sit up here and justify my child is a good child. He didn't go to jail and this, that, and the other. Little stuff that should just be the norm. Oh, Pookie didn't go to jail. Wow. Ray Ray's a good person. Wow. What was he supposed to be? So what else does Pookie and Ray Ray got going on besides being a good person and didn't go to jail and they got a job at Walmart? What are their other plans for the future besides those very basic things? And I see black parents, especially black mothers, do this all the time. My children are just good people, and that's that. Great, great. They're good people. Exactly, bro. Speak low expectations. If your only expectation of your children is that they're good people and they stay out of jail, and they didn't have any children until they were 18, even though soon as they turned 18, they had a lot of out of wedlock kids. But you're still praising them. They did good. This is doing good in the black community. I just want to let you understand when next time you hear this speech, I want you to recognize the low expectation speech that a lot of people give when they're describing their children. Because I'm telling you, other groups, they don't have those low expectations like we have. Very basic things, like everybody's supposed to be a good person. Everybody's supposed to work. Everybody's supposed to be law abiding citizens and stay out of jail. But these are accomplishments to a lot of black parents when they describe their children. And don't get me wrong. Now, if your child has made a decision that they don't want to elevate themselves, they don't want to go to no college, they don't want to go to no trade school, they don't want to do nothing. It is your job as a parent at that point to say, okay, since this is the decision that you made, my decision is not to support you anymore. So good luck trying to live off a Walmart salary because you got to go. You got to move. That should be the very next move you make as a parent. Kick them out and let them see how far they get on their own with a Walmart job. Because, see, here's what happens when you accept that they're going to work just as a Walmart job and you're still out working and paying all the bills. Well, of course, they can be very comfortable with that Walmart job in your house where they don't have to pay very much for rent at all. What they paying you, like $100, $200? You still buying all the food, you still paying for the electricity, you're doing all the heavy lifting for them, so they're sitting at home comfortable with that Walmart job, not going to school, not learning a trade, no other plans to become self-sufficient. And heaven forbid you become sick, because we all get old and we all get sick. Who you gonna fall back on? Your child is dependent on you. I would like to think that when I get old and I can't do it anymore, I have children who are self sufficient in their own right that can come and take care of me in my time of need, not the other way around. That is the reason why I entitled this stream, Sisters Are Expected to Take Care of Their Children Forever. It is impossible. You will get old one day. What are they going to do when that happens? What are they going to do when you retire? Everybody can't live off your retirement. But see, black people in the black community, we don't plan for these things. We don't think about that. Why do you think other groups of people push for their children so hard to go forth and conquer? Because they know one day they're going to get old and they're going to need their children to be stable so that they can take care of them in their last stages of life. But instead, in our community, in Black society, we got it backwards. The elders are taking care of the 20-year-olds and 30 and 40-year-olds. The elders are. We still got Generation X people running around here working. Not generation baby boomers. We still have baby boomers running around here working, taking care of their grown ass kids, and Generation X working, taking care of their grown ass kids. We do it backwards in the Black community. We don't put the children in position to take care of us in our old age. But instead, in our old age, we're still taking care of grown ass people that never ever try to do anything with their lives. And we enabled it. It's our fault because we enabled it. Baratiki says, I would never let me get my outraged parent voice on. Ah, I would never kick my children out of my home, no matter what, because I am super parent. I will always provide shelter. Now, I also know that my children are smart enough to know when they are ready to, hold on, when they are ready to settle their own family. No, they're not, Baratiki. They're idiots. Shut up, Baratiki. Shut up. They are idiots. They don't know. If you do not put your foot down and insist that they do something with their lives, they will lay on your couch and they will ask for PlayStation 4s and PlayStation 5s and more video games, and they will not pay you a penny, and you have to insist. You have to insist, Baratiki. You have to insist that they get a plan and goals to become self-sufficient. And that is what we do not do in the Black community. So don't give me this little speech about what a great parent you are, because you would never. I'm going to tell you something. If you a kid of mine and you sitting up here telling me that you ain't going to go to school, you're not trying to learn no trade, and you want to lay up on my couch all day and you don't want to contribute anything, you got to go. And that is being the ultimate good parent. You are not a good parent if you sit up there and you encourage your children not to go further in life. What is Richard Byfield talking about? Stop blaming the fathers. Who bought fathers up? See, you people coming in here on the tail end of everything. I had not mentioned one father to first, and blame not one man or anything. Yeah, y'all gonna have to roll it back and catch the replay before y'all comment up in here. Third Ward said, I'm so glad I decided to move out of my mom's crib at the age of 17 to see if I was ready to become a grown ass man and take care of myself. And come to find out I was. So it was the best decision I made. Exactly. I left home when I was like 18, 19. And it was the best decision I made because it prepared me. I knew what it took to survive. But these kids nowadays, and I'm not saying that you got to leave at 18, 19, but if you're going to live at home with your parents, maximize that experience. Don't just live there for free and not be trying to go to school or learn a trade, or trying to do something to maximize yourself so that when you finally do get out there, you can be successful. But what I'm seeing a lot of our black children do is we lay at home, we don't have no plans for the future, and our parents enable this. And they think that they're good parents because they enable this. And I'm saying you are the worst parents ever. I see so many generation I'm sorry, I see so many baby boomers now, my Aunt Mary being one of them, dying off and leaving their children houses that these children are losing. My Aunt Mary had a house that was paid for, and she left it to her three sons who were just laying up on her. They laid up on her until she died. Where's the house now? I'm glad you asked. It's gone. Gone, I tell you, because they didn't pay the taxes. They had never been responsible for anything in their lives. And when she died, the person that had been keeping everything together pretty much died because they did not understand the importance of paying property tax. She had mollycoddled them to the point where they were just helpless when she was no longer there. So I don't want to hear another black person storming up in here talking about them being a good parent and letting their children just lay up on them with no plan. This is the disease that goes on in our society. We don't like to plan. We are people that hate to plan. We don't like to map out what the future is going to be like. Gia Girl says a grown child that lives at home, works, and helps their aging parent is a different scenario. Yes, now that's a different scenario. If you're a grown child and you're living at home and you're helping your aging parents, you're a help to them, that's a totally different scenario. But if you're a grown kid living at home and you're dependent on your aging parents, then you're sorry SOB. Just sorry. Veritiki says, I do not tolerate laziness in my house because I have accumulated assets that my children know they need to prepare themselves to work hard to maintain and multiply. That's good, Veritiki. Amanique Mama Max says, as soon as I got out of the army, mother had her hand open for money. I paid, was out in a month, college bound. Exactly. Your mother was absolutely right because nothing in this world is free. As soon as you become an adult, society is going to make you pay. So if you go out into the world and the world tells you to pay, why would you expect to live at home for free? Unless you are planning, you have a plan to become self-sufficient, like you're going to school or you're learning a trade. That's totally different. But if other than that, if you're just working and you expect not to pay, baby, bad. In my house, you would have to get the hell out. Because in the real world, the landlord ain't gonna sit up there and look at you and say, "Oh, aren't you cute? You can live here for free." That no, that does not prepare these grown children for the real world. In the real world, they will be out on their ass if they don't pay. So you have to set that expectation early. Let's see here. Richard Byfield says, don't choose deadbeat homies and you won't have to deal with it. Leader, sorry, but accountability falls on both sides. Not sure who that comment was for, but it sounds pretty accurate. Yeah. I'll just go with it. Sounds pretty accurate. Okay, let's see here. I think I'm pretty much caught up on the comments here. Oh, Cool Gent 87 says, some folks don't need no damn kids because they can't take care of themselves. Thank you. Thank you. And that's exactly right. If you can't pay your own bills, if you can't take care of yourself, you're still living at home with your mama. What would make you think that it's a good idea for you to produce another human being that is dependent, and they're dependent on you while you're still dependent on your parents? Make that make sense. My parents work. They're the ones that provide my everything, and I'm dependent on my parents. And now I'm going to make a person that is dependent on me, and I still haven't got my shit together. All right, screen learning with the $5 super chat. He says challenge. Everyone hit the Cash App, Super Chat, or sticker and support your interests. We have to set expectations early, or children will fail. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Clue. Clue said challenge accepted. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Clue and Stream Learning. Biratiki says, and of course, the tradition here is such that I also know that they will take care of me if I need it, any help in my very old age or in any case of disability. Exactly, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the other way around where we're 80 years old out here still trying to work because we still have dependent children at home in their 40s and 50s. So we got to still take care of them. That's not going to work. And if our children in their 40s and 50s still dependent on us, we failed. And you have to understand, you have failed if you're still taking care of children that old. Now I'm gonna tell you, I have a older daughter who's married. She's out of the house, and she's in her career settled in. She's a what do you call it, a MUA or something like that, makeup artist. She went to school and learned all this stuff, and she has her own business. And I have a younger daughter. She's in school to become a pediatrician, but right now she's working in a daycare. She's a daycare school teacher. And my son, he's currently in the military. So these children are becoming self-sufficient. I'm proud of them. They're doing their thing. And this is what I raised them to do. But if I have a child, and I do have one child, there's always the one black sheep, right? I have one child that just don't want to do anything. I talk to her all the time about cultivating herself. I talk to her all the time about going to school. I talk to her all the time about, dibbling and dabbling, seeing what type of trades she might be interested in. And this child told me she don't want to do nothing. Well, what do you think I should do with that? What can I do with somebody that tells me that they don't want to do nothing? Yet they're living in my house and I'm paying all the bills. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I did. For the one that didn't want to do nothing, you got to go. You have made your decision. If your decision is to rely on Amazon warehouse work for the rest of your life, good luck with that. I'm going to let you deal with the decision that you made. Come back and report to me and let me know how that's working out for you. Exactly, Clue. Kick her out. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Cool Jen. I see it right here. I appreciate it. Richard Byfield says, "What's the black woman scared of? She's already been enslaved. Now she's trading sides." Well, okay. Let's unpack this comment right here real quick. What is the black woman scared of? She's already been enslaved. Now she's trading sides. Because I think that Richard Byfield came here not to get any type of information about black family. It sounds like you came here to gender war, and that's not what my topic is about this morning. My topic is about how we enable our children to not plan for their future, and how it doesn't make sense for us, and especially since 50% of our children are being raised by single black mothers. It doesn't make sense for us to continue the enabling because it is not helping our children move forward. Now, I'm not saying that you throw your children out at the first sign of them bucking up on you and saying that they don't want to do anything with their lives. What you do is you have the conversation and you help them plan. You give them the tools. You work with them. Now, after working and talking and sitting back and seeing that they're really serious, if they are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing and they're working on becoming productive and independent, they can stay for as long as they need to. But if I see a person just playing, you're just playing, you don't want to do nothing, you just, oh yeah, I'm gonna just tell my mama anything. Yeah, 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 mama, I'm gonna go to school. And then weeks go by, months go by, a whole year goes by, and I ain't seen you in no school. I ain't seen you apply for no trade or nothing. Oh, honey, you just made your decision. You just showed me what it is that you want to do. And so, no, you do not get another year of a free ride off of me. You got to go. Good luck with Amazon. Pretty Black said, I had a feeling niggas would pop up as usual and blame black women for all their problems. So glad I'm divested. Just a regular guy says that Richard Byfield is gender warring. Not cool, sir. Exactly. It's not cool because this is not what this topic is about. And I don't want to deflect or derail from what we're talking about because what I'm talking about is very important because you will be surprised at the number of our people who are parenting and they are doing this. I see so many of us doing this and it's got to stop. Because if we don't hold our children accountable, if we don't set a premise that we expect them to become productive citizens of society and be independent, if we don't set that expectation, then they will never ever do it on their own. Now, some people are self motivated, but for the most part, most of our children, if we will pay the way for them for the rest of their lives, especially if they've been used to it, because as parents, that was our job when they were young. Well, as they transition into adulthood, we have to transition them into getting more responsibility and having more accountability for their own selves and their own future. You have to transition them into that. That is also your job as a parent, to transition your adult children into adulthood. And what I am seeing is a lot of us, we're not doing that. We're not transitioning our children like we should. But I don't want anybody to get caught up into what Richard Byfield is saying, because it's not important and it's not relevant to the topic. What's relevant to the topic is the fact that we do have to pay attention to trends in our society. We have to become sociologists, so to speak, in our communities. And a lot of times in sociology, you'll see trends that are positive and you'll see trends that are negative. And with the negative trends, you try to pinpoint what is causing it, and then you work to correct it. Because when you learn better, you can teach better and you can do better. It's all about course correction. And in our community, we have to do a lot of course correcting. We have to stop a lot of inappropriate behaviors. And yes, sitting up there allowing your adult children to just kind of, how can I say, leech off of you for a lifetime, that's inappropriate behavior. And I know a lot of you don't like to think of your children or look at them as being leeches because we love them. There's little poo poo, but little poo poo is going on 30 and he does not have any type of skill or degree or nothing under his belt. And that's something that we definitely got to change in our society. B. Devanya says, children are an investment. My mother gets a check every month and she doesn't need it. Veritiki says, I give my children allowances and they get sanctioned when they messed up. That's exactly, hold them accountable. You have to hold them accountable. And like I said, putting a child out of the home, that's like at the most severe way that you can hold a person accountable. So that means that this person has had to flat out tell you that they're not going to do anything. And I'm telling you, when you're met with that particular scenario, when the kid is telling you they want to live in your house, they want to continue to live under your roof, but they don't want to pay any rent, they don't want to go to school, they don't want to become independent. This is them telling you, hey, I have made my decision. They done pretty much dug their feet into the dirt that this is what they want to do with their lives. At that point, you do have a right to say, and this is what I want to do with my life, son, daughter. My life does not consist of taking care of you forever. So if you have dug in your feet and you feel that Amazon is a great career for you, then you must deal with your choice and get out of my house. And you would not be wrong. DJ Fundamental says this is the cost of being a parent. Not all kids are created equal. Everyone just assumes that when their kid grows up, they will be successful. Some kids will just not make it in life. Wow, that is like some real, real low expectation talk right there. Let's unpack this comment from DJ Fundamentals. So basically, you're saying that if you have a healthy, fully functioning child, that there's no way that they can be successful. And let me tell you something, there are different levels of success. But if your child has the ability to be independent of you, and if your child has the ability to be a productive member of society, That is success. But if your child cannot be a productive member of society or be independent of you, you have failed. The only way that any child I would give a pass is if maybe that child was born with autism or some sort of disability. And so this is what is preventing them from becoming self sufficient. But if you have a healthy, fully functioning child, there is no reason in this world that they cannot be successful. That low expectation talk is something that we need to ban from the community. Pretty Black Magic says, I used to watch Ricky Smiley's show, and he rewarded the kid when they did good and punishment when they messed up. That is how you do it. At Bixby says, instead of giving your children allowances, give them a paycheck, and that way you can write them off on your taxes. Oh, okay, that's a good tip. I didn't know that. Make your children your employees. That's interesting. Oh yes, please check out the pinned message at the top of the chat and contribute. Also, I have a channel membership. You are welcome to join. Good morning, say Serum One. Say I cannot pronounce that name. Say Seer or say Sire One. I'll get it one of these days. But yes, in closing, because I'm not going to make this video very long, I have committed to keeping these live streams under an hour. But I do want to reiterate for everyone as a parent, and I know I put sisters in the title, but this goes for all parents. It is your duty, it is your responsibility to make sure that you are giving your children every tool that they can have to become self-sufficient and productive members of society. And if you don't do that, heaven forbid something happens to you, and it could be the same thing that happened with my cousins when their mother passed and she left them that house, and they just weren't self-sufficient enough to even sustain what she left them. It is your duty and your responsibility to ensure that your children are self-sufficient outside of you. There's no way that your grown children should still be depending on you past the age of 25. Those are just facts. Water Sniper says doing everything for the child, like washing their clothes, never letting them wash dishes, no household chores, will literally handicap the child. Exactly, Water Sniper. And that is exactly what this is about today. We have got to stop handicapping our children. Time to cut the apron strings, ladies. And it's mostly us, or else you're going to be 80 years old taking care of 50-year-olds. Working your finger to the bone until you die because you refuse to help your children become self sufficient. Because what's going to happen is your children will produce children, and those children are also going to be laying up on you too. And so that's how you get to be 70 and 80 years old, afraid to retire because you got so many people depending on you that you have not taught to be self-sufficient. And so you have generations and generations of people who are lazy. And yeah, Gia girl, it's not just in the black community, but the thing about it is it's pretty bad in our community. If you just look at our community alone, it's pretty bad. Say Sierra One says, 1, 2, 3, not me. Teach them kids so they can become fully functional adults. Exactly. And it says Sierra One says, you cannot live with me if you are not in college. I completely agree wholeheartedly. Now, for those of you that are just filtering in, like I said, I'm making my streams a little bit shorter because I have committed that I will start doing shorter streams. But you can definitely catch the replay. There are a lot of things discussed in the stream that's very important. Please share the stream, like the stream, because that does keep me on top. And with that, I'm going to have to say peace. Thank you all for watching.